Go ahead, say hey.
Hey.
Nice. Say this is the local losers.
Local.
No, you have to look right here. You have to say hey, because you're talking to the people on YouTube. You have to say this is the local losers. Look right here. You're doing good. You're doing real good. So say this is the local losers.
The local losers.
Nice. And now your dad's going to take over.
What's up, guys? We're working on Beau's truck today.
Working on my truck, doing pinion angle stuff. Last time we were on the dyno, drive shaft sheared in half. We're not exactly sure why, but it had a small vibration because of possibly incorrect pinion angle. When we lowered the hard body, it didn't throw the pinion angle off because normally hard bodies have a center carrier bearing. And when you lower it, it actually keeps having the center carrier bearing right there in the middle. It probably keeps the pinion angle correct, wouldn't you think? You wouldn't think so? Even though it smashes everything together and makes it kind of like that?
The pinion angle changes because you're lowering the truck, so it's the axle that's changing.
Ah, okay, so here's what we're talking about. So we got a one-piece drive shaft put on it because the carrier bearing went bad, and we just decided to do away with it. If you look right here, I'm gonna show you. Maybe. Let me see if we need light. We were worried that the one-piece drive shaft was gonna hit on that cross member right there, the one that holds the center support bearing, but it doesn't. It doesn't when it's hanging, and it doesn't when it's on the ground either. Usually, last time we let it down on the ground, we looked, and we had about 1.5 inches right there. We had about 1.5 inches between the drive shaft and the cross member. I was worried that maybe when we had it jacked up like this so many times, like maybe the drive shaft was sitting on that cross member, maybe it was bending it or something like that. I don't know, but it wasn't. It wasn't interfering at all. But today we're going to put in 2-degree shims that take the differential and do this right here. They tilt it down 2 degrees. So the drive shaft is up like this 2 degrees, and there's a 2-degree angle between the transmission and the drive shaft, and then a 2-degree angle between the drive shaft and the differential. Am I leaving anything out?
No. We're grasping at straws here, though.
Yeah, pretty much, because we don't have like a measuring tool to measure the pinion angle. It just like, when we have it sitting on the ground, it looks like it's flat. It looks like 0 degrees from differential through the drive shaft into the transmission. It looks 0 degrees, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think it looks fine. And the thing is, though, is like we don't know why the drive shaft exploded.
Yeah.
This is just, we're hoping that this is the reason and it solves the problem. Because it's on angled blocks, isn't it? These are my old blocks.
It is on angled blocks. But like I said, when it's on the ground, you know, obviously we may not be able to see 2 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be enough for us to see with our eyes, but it looks pretty straight to me. On the internet, it says that with pinion angle, you want between 1 and 3 degrees of, I don't know if it's negative or positive or what, but you want your differential to be pointed down, so your drive shaft is pointed up, and your transmission's like this. You want like a 1 to 3 degree angle here, transmission to drive shaft, and then 1 to 3 degree angle here from differential to drive shaft. So that's what we're trying to attain by putting these shims in. Will it do away with the vibration that we have? No idea. Like Ronnie said, we're kind of grasping at straws. What do they use to measure pinion angle?
You like take everything off, and then the snout like flat, right?
Yeah.
And they have this little magnet angle gauge, angle finders.
What a good idea.
It'll read out the number. And what you're actually supposed to do is like whatever this is, like you're supposed to measure the transmission. Whatever the transmission is, that's what the differential is supposed to be.
Okay.
They're supposed to match, regardless of what it is. Like,
Right.
When you go to 4 link, that's how it's supposed to be.
Ah. Okay, well, Levi's calling us, so we're going to see what's going on with that, and then we're going to get these pinion shims in.
So we got to take the U-bolts off, and then we're going to put the shim in here. This side, they're not real bad or bent or anything, but if your truck's real low, Sometimes they'll be super bent. I don't know if you guys can see that one, but
Yeah,
super bent.
No backing those bolts off.
So we got out our bolt extractor, and we're gonna get it done.
Yeah, we got new U-bolts too, so
Yep.
we're just gonna cut them in half.
New U-bolts, angle thingies.
Angle thingies. That's a technical term.
So we'll show you once we get all this crap off. So the first side's done. We have our little thingamajig in there. New bolts. It's all tightened up. Make sure you can put this on. You get your bolts inside your little saddle here. Beau's getting the other side off. I'm gonna record this side a little more. What the heck? Our camera's getting a little worn out.
You can see how bent these things get from driving and drifting and just tightening them up and the axle shifting around. They get pretty bent up. So
That one's not even bad.
Yeah,
And it's like an S.
Some of the one that I had to cut off, how bad bent the bottom is. Did you show them that?
No, I'll show them. So for this job, you're gonna need 2 jack stands and at least, I say at least, you're gonna need 2 jacks. That way you can hold your axle up and move it with the one jack, and the other one to move your leaf spring so you can get everything to perch together.
It's one that I had to cut off right there.
Look at this.
That's nice.
That's how it went. So they get pretty beat up. It's from hitting the ground. You can see there. That's what tears them up. These other ones, Beau got a pretty good length. They're pretty short.
Yeah, they turned out real well. I think we had to cut these off.
Yeah.
Man.
And they were bent the first time we took them off when we put these blocks in. Because the truck was on what, 2 or 3 inch blocks? 2 inch blocks.
3 inch blocks.
Oh, really 3 inch blocks?
Or maybe 2.5. It felt kind of in between. It looked in between. It didn't look like 2. It didn't look like 3. This thing's seized up on here, like from the factory. What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, this is the un-Caesar.
Hail Caesar. Hail un-Caesar.
Yep.
Dude, they crossed there right on there.
Did they?
That's what it looks like. See how it's silver right there?
Yeah, I see it. Anyways, I'm gonna record us doing this side. That way you guys can kind of see what's going on. But we have the shim. It's right there, and it goes. We're putting it up top because we have a bigger nipple sticking up on top on the block than on the leaf spring. So what you do at this point, we jack up the axle, and it's gonna pull the axle up off this leaf spring, allowing us to get the spacer in there. And so Beau's gonna slip that in. Let me get over here a little bit. So
The blocks have these locators on top,
yeah.
just like a little nipple, and you just slip that hole right over the nipple. I like saying nipple a lot.
So
yeah, that's it.
at this point, it's kind of a 2-person job, because what he's gonna do, it's harder to locate the block into the axle than it is the block onto the leaf spring. So he's gonna locate it on the axle, and then I'm gonna slowly go down on the jack, and hopefully everything will be.
Jack?
Yeah. Hopefully everything will be lined up. Maybe. You want to locate it up top?
Real quick. Okay.
You go down slow. That's basically it. You have to move it. So now we have to get the block. It's not in the hole, so Beau's gonna push on the axle a little bit, and then hopefully it falls in. It's not in yet.
Not in.
Okay. Let me see this. It needs to go over.
There it goes.
There it is. So you have to locate it north, south, and east, west. So we got it on there. Now let's just put the bolts in, bolt it back together, and make sure you keep your saddle. Make sure it's in the saddle. That's quite important.
Yes.
At this point, if you can't get your bolts to line up, what you're going to do is you're going to use your second jack, and you're going to jack up the front of the leaf spring. And be real careful, because it's kind of sketchy jacking up leaf springs. But jack up the leaf spring, and it's going to push the axle up. And by moving the axle up, it's going to give you more travel on your shock, which will get you where you need to be. Hopefully. And then these U-bolts, sometimes they're a little wide. You gotta squeeze them together, or maybe you gotta pull them apart. It all just kind of depends. They make a bunch of universal sizes, which means they don't fit your truck exactly.
Yeah.
That's what universal means. Here, you want to start that one before you get crazy?
That's probably a good idea.
That way we don't have to restart. You can do this by yourself.
It is not fun by yourself at all.
Definitely easier if you have a buddy.
Not a buddy that irritates you either. A buddy that can keep you nice and calm while you beat the crap out of anything you need to.
Well, I'm gonna go inside.
Alright, let's try to get this other one on here. Oh, man. Fell right
Just
in.
like that. Tighten these up. You can do all this by hand. Tighten them up and everything. Make sure they're tight and tighten them together. Like the two, don't tighten just the front, like just the front, and then don't barely tighten the back. Try to tighten them evenly back and forth.
Kind of like the way you would the lug nuts on your wheels.
Yeah. Just that way, because you don't want to like stress the bolt one way or anything. It gets real weird. So just do it like this. One side, one side. If you have an impact, don't get crazy, but make sure they're tight, because I mean this holds your axle in. It's kind of important.
Kind of.
Just a little bit. And don't be afraid to take tire off. We took tire off that side because we had to cut the bolts off wherever they are, like this. Real bent. Sometimes you gotta cut them off. Sometimes they unbolt. This side unbolted, no problem.
And if you get these things up like 3/8 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and they start to like cross thread, I can't think of a better thread locker than a good solid cross thread. So just run them on in.
Run them in.
Just tighten them down.
You can cut them off later.
We give such good advice.
Beau fixed his window.
I fixed my window. We're actually going to see if it rolls down without getting all cockeyed. Oh, 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 what? Does it roll up without getting crazy? Dang!
It's the little things, guys, when you have a shit box.
House caulking. That's what I use. I put in the little groove that the window goes into.
Then he rolled it up tight.
Then I rolled it up tight for 2 days. That sounds weird.
So we're going for a drive to see if it fixed it.
Dude, projects are so janky.
Well, oh, hold on.
What am I rolling over?
I put a little piece of metal for a wheel chock up there.
No, it didn't work. Was it sharp? Did it just puncture my
No,
tire?
it was like this. It was a piece of angle iron. It worked. You didn't fall off the jack stands. I mean, you had to actually give it some gas to get over it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going for a drive. We'll meet you guys in a parking lot somewhere.
Man, it's dark. They can't see us.
Yep.
Well, we definitely have an issue. Right about 65, you start feeling this vibration, and it kind of really varies. You know, sometimes it's off the throttle. Sometimes Ronnie felt it on the throttle. I felt it off the throttle. Right around 65 and up into the 70s, like it gets pretty bad. Like almost like it has a radial engine in it, like a freaking old World War II plane.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and find somebody that's more knowledgeable about us than
About us?
more knowledgeable than
Who's
us.
knowledgeable about us?
I don't know. About you know, drive, whatever it's called,
Yeah,
drive trains,
drive lines and whatnot.
I don't know. It's new U joints. It's a new drive shaft. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be balanced properly.
And this didn't happen before
The
I
one
went
piece.
away from the two-piece. Yeah. Now that I have the one piece, it's happening. And I don't know. We're gonna do some Google and see if there's like a maximum safe length for a hard body drive shaft. You know, because this one's 65 inches long, which is pretty long
It
for a drive
seems
shaft.
long, but then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's not that long.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus it's aluminum, so it's light. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Like a stock Duramax has a freaking long drive shaft.
Really.
Yeah.
Are they aluminum or
Yeah,
they're
they're
steel?
aluminum.
Are they?
Yeah.
My Ford's is aluminum. It's super long.
Yeah.
And it's a long bed, so it's long.
Anyways, we don't know. We're gonna try and get some more information and pass it on to you guys so that.
I mean, the truck is drivable, it's driftable. We're not going to be able to get it back on the dyno because I'm afraid it's just going to tear this drive shaft in half again, and I don't want to like bust up their dyno any more than we already have. So we're going to move along with the simple turbo setup. I know everybody's ready for the simple turbo series, so here we go.
Heard it here first, guys.
Later.
Bye.